the most dangerous women America never saw coming. Most people don't want to believe they exist. We are taught that women are caregivers and protectors, but the files of the FBI tell a different story. Take the case of Dorothea Puente. In the 1980s, she was a sweet grandmother in Sacramento who took in the homeless. She wore floral dresses and baked for her neighbors. But under her garden, the earth was hiding a secret. Police didn't find old bones. They found 7 bodies, some still wearing their clothes, buried just inches below her favorite flowers. She didn't just kill them. She lived off their money while they rotted under her feet. Today we go inside the evidence lockers to examine 5 women who proved that evil has no gender. Case 1. Dorothea Puente. Dorothea Puente was a professional liar. We'll say she targeted people that society had forgotten. Alcoholics, the elderly, and the disabled. She knew that if they went missing, no one would come looking. She would serve them a last supper filled with enough drugs to stop a heart. Then she would wait. In the middle of the night, she dragged the bodies to the backyard. She hired local men to dig holes for trees, then dropped the bodies in herself. For years, she collected their government checks. She made over $5,000 a month from the dead. When police finally searched the yard, they found the bodies. Dorothea simply smoothed her hair, grabbed her umbrella, and walked away before they could cuff her. She was caught days later in a motel looking for her next victim. Case 2. Aileen Wuornos. Most serial killers hide. Aileen Wuornos stood in plain sight. In 1989, the men driving along Florida's Interstate 75 began to disappear. They weren't being kidnapped. They were picking up a hitchhiker. Aileen didn't use poison or shadows. She used a .22 caliber handgun. She shot 7 men at point-blank range. When she was caught, she told the police it was self-defense. She said the men tried to hurt her, but the evidence told a different story. She took their cars. She took their wallets. She left the bodies in the woods and moved on to the next ride. She is one of the only women in U.S. history to fit the profile of a classic spree killer. Case 3. Nanny Doss. Nanny Doss had a nickname that didn't match her crimes. They called her the Giggling Granny. Why? Because every time she talked about her dead family members, she couldn't stop laughing. Between 1920 and 1954, Nanny killed 11 people, and this included 4 of her husbands, her mother, her 2 sisters, and even her own grandson. Her method was always the same, a home-cooked meal flavored with rat poison. She wasn't after insurance money. She told investigators she was looking for true love. If a husband got boring or complained too much, she replaced him. She poisoned her own family like she was pulling weeds in a garden. Case 4. Jane Toppin. In a hospital in Massachusetts, Jane Toppin was the best nurse on the floor. She was fast, efficient, and kind. But Jane had a dark obsession. She wanted to see what happened to the human body at the exact moment of death. She began experimenting. She would give patients a dose of morphine to bring them close to death, then a dose of atropine to bring them back. She played with their lives like a cat plays with a mouse, which eventually she stopped bringing them back. She confessed to killing 31 people, but the real number is likely much higher. She didn't feel guilt. She felt power. In her own words, she wanted to be the greatest killer who ever lived. Case 5. Gertrude Baniszewski. In 1965, in a quiet neighborhood in Indianapolis, a mother of 7 named Gertrude Baniszewski committed a crime that many call the most terrible ever committed in the state of Indiana. She wasn't a stranger in the woods. She was a woman entrusted with the care of two young sisters. Gertrude took in Sylvia Likens and her sister for $20 a week while their parents worked. But soon, the money wasn't enough. Gertrude turned her basement into a torture chamber. She didn't act alone. She forced her own children and several neighborhood kids to join in. For months, they humiliated and hurt Sylvia. The neighbors heard the screams, but no one called the police. They thought it was just strict discipline. By the time police found Sylvia's body in the basement, she was unrecognizable. Gertrude claimed the girl had run away or hurt herself, but the evidence was written in the scars on the girl's body. It was a crime of pure, senseless cruelty, hidden behind the walls of a suburban home. We look at these cases and we want to find a reason. We want to find a history of trauma or a moment of madness. But sometimes the investigation leads to a dead end. Some people are simply cold. Dorothea killed for money. Aileen killed for revenge. Nanny killed for a fantasy. Jane killed for power. And Gertrude killed for sport. These 5 women destroyed the myth that violence is only a man's world. They remind us that the most dangerous person in the room is often the one who looks the most ordinary. When you walk down your street tonight, look at the windows. You never truly know what is happening on the other side of the glass. Thanks for watching. If you want us to cover more cases like these, leave a comment below and click on the subscribe button.